Welcome everybody to our wellness series. Today we're so lucky to have Andrea Wolf. She's a current registered dietitian working at Stanford Family Medicine Clinic and Nutrition Clinic. She's been a clinical dietitian at Stanford for almost 6 years. She's passionate about helping others feel their best about optimizing their health through nutrition and healthy lifestyle. She currently also teaches weight management classes and leads a healthy lifestyle support group at Stanford. So we're really fortunate to have Andrea with us. So yeah, I'll send it over. Also, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the question box and we'll ask as we go. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Leah, for the introduction. I'm so happy to be here. Again, my name is Andrea, and I hope that I can inspire you today to start making your own salad dressing at home. If you are already making your own salad dressing, amazing. Hopefully you'll learn some new twists that you can add to the salad dressing you're already doing. And I will also go over 3 simple salads that can be quick to prepare any weeknight to really get in more vegetables into your life. I feel like that's one thing a lot of us struggle with, is getting enough veggies, and they're just so important and for our overall health, and can be really helpful with filling up our plate with veggies to help control our blood sugars. Well, let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to go over is how to make a salad dressing, the salad dressing basics. So what you want is to have extra virgin olive oil. You can also use avocado oil. Extra virgin olive oil is great. It's full of monounsaturated fats. And just choose one that you like the taste of. And then you will need a vinegar or an acid. I really like using lemons. I feel like they're really bright. They taste good in salads, but there's so many different types of vinegars out there. You can do white wine vinegar, red wine vinegar, balsamic vinegar. There's just really so many options that you can choose. So choose one that you like, and then you can switch it up depending on also what you're making. So to get started, you're gonna want to have a ratio of 1 part vinegar, lemon juice, your acid, to 3 parts olive oil. So I'm gonna have I have a measuring spoon here. I'm gonna use a tablespoon, and I'm just making like 1 serving for my salad dressing. I love using clear jars that you can see in, and then you don't even have to measure. You can just kind of eyeball it to figure out the ratio that you like. I'll sometimes I want more of a tart dressing, and I'll do like more like a 1-to-1 ratio. But 1 to 3 is like the basic you can start with, and then you can kind of play around with that. So I already squeezed some lemon juice. I like using like one of these squeezers because I feel like I can get more out of it, but you can definitely just use your hand. So I'm going to do 1 tablespoon of the lemon juice. And again, you can use any vinegar that you like. And I'm going to go ahead and do 3 tablespoons of my extra virgin olive oil. Here we go. There's 1. And there, one reason to make your own salad dressing at home, if you've ever read the ingredients on the back of your salad dressing, even if the front says like low fat, no sugar added, often, they're going to be made with more refined oils. It's hard to find one made with extra virgin olive oil. And lots of times there's preservatives, there's maybe sugar or artificial sugars added to it. So making your own at home is just so beneficial for your health. And it can also be cheaper. And it's really easy to do, as I'm showing you today. And then so there's your basics. You got your vinegar, you got your olive oil. And here you can kind of eyeball it. It's 1 to 3. And then you can kind of start seasoning it. So I'm going to add just a pinch of salt. You can definitely leave out the salt if you're trying to watch your salt intake. And then I'm going to add just a few little twists of pepper. Again, you can adjust to your taste. You can add more or you can add less. If you're not using salt, then maybe you want to flavor it with, maybe you want to add like crush a garlic clove in there. You can add shallots, add some onions. You can add some fresh herbs. You can add dried herbs. So there's really endless opportunities of like for your salad dressing. So I'm going to just shake this up. So what you want to do is you can emulsify it. If you don't have a glass jar, you can definitely put it in a bowl and just whisk it. But these jars are great because you can just shake it up, and they're great for storing dressing too. So if you make a larger batch, if you use lemon juice, it'll last about 3, like up to 5 days in the fridge. If you just use like olive oil and vinegar, it will last 1 week, even up to 2 weeks. So you can make a larger batch. And there you go. It's all emulsified. It looks nice and creamy. And I'm going to go ahead and just pour it over my salad. So what I'm using today is I have some arugula. Arugula has a little bit of a bitter taste. So if you don't like bitter greens, then you can go ahead and you can use any type of greens that you like, you know, the baby salad green spring mix. I bought these already washed just for an easy salad you can pull together quickly. One thing too is the arugula is nice. It doesn't wilt as quickly as some of the other greens. So if you use a hardier green, it will last a little bit longer. So I'm going to just pour that on there. And then it's time to kind of dress up your salad. I love when I get home from the store is thinly slicing. I use like a mandolin to cut up different veggies. So you can make your fridge into almost like your own little salad bar. So I might throw some cucumbers in there. I have some radishes. The way you cut your veggies are going to make a difference in the taste too. So, you know, having like a thinly sliced little piece of radish, it's not going to be bitter if you have like a huge chunk in it. And if you don't like thinly sliced veggies, grated veggies are great. You can add fennel. You can add fresh tender herbs like mint or basil. You can add nuts. So you could add like almonds or walnuts or seeds. I love like sesame seeds or even the furikake with the seaweed. It's great in salads. So you can really mix things up, but today I'm just keeping it simple. I added some cucumbers, I added some radishes, I added some carrots to give it some color, and then I'm going to just mix it up. I like using tongs. You can definitely use your hands, make sure that they're clean. And there you go. You have your salad for the side for whatever dinner that you made. One trick too is before you dress it, is you're going to want to put some aside in a container, and you can use that for lunch the next day. Leave a little bit of salad dressing in your glass jar, pop it in the fridge, and there you go. You already have veggies for dinner, and then you have veggies are ready to go for lunch the next day. I'm going to just go ahead and plate this up. And I love adding color to my salads. You can even add olives are great. Cucumbers are great if you want more creaminess in it. And I had like roasted some beets, or you can even grate raw beets into your salad. So again, there's so many options. And let's say you save some for lunch the next day. You can add a protein to it and make it into a complete meal. So then you have like 2 meals done. You could add some beans. Again, about half a cup of beans would be 1 serving of carbohydrate if you're counting your carbs. You could add a hard-boiled egg in there for some protein. I love cottage cheese. Not everyone likes it, but cottage cheese for this brand, a half a cup has 3 grams of carbohydrates and 14 grams of protein. So it's a good source of protein. Canned fish, wild caught canned salmon or tuna is really great source of protein and no carbs that you can add to your salad. So there you go. Here's like a simple salad with your homemade dressing, which is so much tastier than the bottle dressing. All right, I'm going to move on to salad number 2, which I'm very excited to share. I'm going to make a dinosaur kale salad with ricotta salata. Let me grab my ingredients.
Andrea, somebody is asking how long your veggies keep once you've prepped them.
Yeah, so you probably I would say maybe like 5 days. I feel like when I cut them and I seal them up in the fridge, the cucumbers, the carrots will actually usually last the longest. So I feel like even a week they're good. Cucumbers, I feel like they don't last as long. So I would say like 3 or 4 days, maybe 5 days. The radishes too will last a while. Sometimes they'll kind of, they won't last as long as like the carrots, but like carrot celery lasts pretty long in the fridge. You can even just cut them thinly and put them in some water, and they'll last for a while in the fridge that way too. But I feel like they last a while, and it makes it easy. You can just throw everything in. All right, so the next salad I'm going to make is dinosaur kale salad with ricotta salata. And what you want to do is you can buy your dinosaur kale at the store or at the farmer's market. We're lucky where we live. Usually you can find it year round. So the dinosaur kale, it looks like this, also like the Tuscan kale. It's different than the curly kale, which actually looks curly. And so one thing about this salad is you're going to want to cut the kale really thin. It actually makes a difference in how it tastes. I feel like it tastes better the thinner you cut it. So definitely take the time to do that. After I wash my greens, I actually just like to lay them flat in a clean dish towel and just roll it up. And sometimes I'll just kind of do it. And then if I have something else to do, and just kind of let them dry on the counter. Or if you have a salad spinner, after you cut it up, you can throw it in the salad spinner. But I feel like using a clean dish towel works really well. So you're going to want to get rid of the stem of the kale. It's really tough and fibrous. You don't want that in your salad. So I like to just kind of pull it, and then I just kind of rip the leaves off of it. You can definitely cut around the stem, but I just feel like this is really easy to do. And then the way I like to cut the kale so that it gets really thin, I cut it how I cut my basil, where I'll line it up, and the Dinosaur Kale works really well with this. So you can kind of find ones that are similar in size, and you're going to want to roll it up as tight as you can. So take that extra few seconds to get a tight roll on there. And then there's my roll of my kale, and then I'll just kind of thinly slice it along the edge. And so you can kind of keep cutting through. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut, once I get to the end, because you want like bite-sized pieces. You don't want these long pieces in your salad. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut across just a few times. And I already cut the rest of the kale. You can use a pound, about a pound. I just use like a bunch of kale. So there it is already cut up. I'm going to just throw it into the bowl. So I got my kale, and kale is so healthy for you. If you say like you don't like kale, you know, I really encourage you to try this recipe because it really might change your mind on it. And then this recipe also has lemon juice. So it calls for 1.5 tablespoons of lemon juice. I like mine a little bit more lemony, so I like to use 2 tablespoons of lemon juice for this salad. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add that in. So 1 tablespoon, 2 tablespoons. And then it has 4.5 tablespoons of olive oil. So 4 tablespoons equals 1/4 cup. I'm going to just pour it into my liquid measuring cup to save some time. Pouring it in. A little bit over 1/4 cup. So I'm going to just leave a little bit in the one thing that's great about the salad dressing, you can always, especially when you're making these jars, you can always add a little more vinegar, add a little bit more olive oil, kind of whatever you need for your taste. And then again, we're going to kind of flavor it with a little bit of salt and pepper. There will be cheese added to this salad, which is, cheese is salty. So again, you can use a little bit less salt. I would say start with less, and then you can always add more as you need it. So I'm going to grab my 1/4 teaspoon. I like using the sea salt. I feel like it has good flavor in there. It's still the sea salt, mineral salt, it's still salt. So if you're watching your salt, you still have to be careful. And I don't measure my pepper. I'm just going to do a few little twists in there. And then this recipe calls for shallots. So shallots look like this at the store. You can also use, like, you could use a red onion. If you use other onions, you might want to soak it in a little bit of water or vinegar to kind of mellow out the taste. And this recipe calls for 2 tablespoons. I'm going to just pour that in. Again, I use my mandolin to slice it thin, but you can kind of chop it however you like your onions cut. And then I'm going to mix it up. And the onion adds good flavor. I like to add onion to my, when I'm making a salad for dinner. Again, you could even crush a garlic clove in there. You could add a little bit of mustard, Dijon in there. That adds a little tanginess, adds some good flavor. I'm going to add a little bit of Dijon because I like a little Dijon in my kale salad. So usually recipes will say like a teaspoon. For me, that's too much. I feel like a little goes a long way. So I like literally, I'm doing like 1/8 teaspoon in there. And then you can increase it as you need. Always start with less, and then you can always add more. So I'm going to give this another shake. I'm going to pour this onto my kale leaves that we had already sliced up. And then I'm going to give it a mix. You can use your hands, are great to really make sure every leaf gets coated really well. Mix it up. This salad is really great too because you can use it. It actually, I feel like it tastes better the next day. So it's perfect for lunch the next day. I actually like it in the morning. I'll fry or poach an egg and put it on top of this kale salad. It's really delicious. And then ricotta salata, it comes in like a block at the store. If you can't find it, or if you don't like ricotta salata, you can use like Parmesan or like really any cheese that you like. So this is 2 ounces, it's about a cup. And again, you can use more or less. I do recommend, and if you don't want to use cheese, I do recommend something creamy in there. So that's when you could replace it with an avocado. I would though just cut up your avocado and put in for whatever you're eating at that time. And if you want to save some for the next day, put in some fresh avocado so it doesn't brown in your salad. And then I'm going to just mix it all up. I love like that green and the white. This is like a great salad to make for the holidays. You could add some like a little bit of like crushed almonds, hazelnuts, really good in this salad. Again, for the next day, if you have leftover baked chicken or a rotisserie chicken, you can make a complete meal out of it. This salad is so good because it really lasts in the fridge, and it's not going to wilt if you're doing like a mixed spring salad. So here we go. Salad number 2. And I have a 2.5-year-old, and last time I made it, I think she ate like half of the salad in like one sitting. I was like, save some for me. So that's salad number 2 done. And the last salad I'm going to make today is a shaved cauliflower salad. So I know cauliflower has gotten more popular these days, like the cauliflower rice. So this is a way to eat it raw. And it's cut really thin. So if you think like, oh gosh, I'm not going to I don't love raw cauliflower, but when it's sliced really thin, you don't get that big crunch or taste in your mouth. And I feel like it's really yummy. So I'm going to grab my ingredients for this next salad. I'm going to make some space, clean these out of the way.
Andrea, you're really showing us how quick and easy all these salads are. It seems like also like they're very versatile. Like you can add a little less, add a little bit more based on your taste. I love that.
Yeah, I know. I feel like a lot of times we think that it's really hard to get in a vegetable, but with salads, there's no cooking time. You can buy the greens already washed. Making your own salad dressing, just keep some vinegar on hand at home, some olive oil, salt and pepper, which most of us have anyways, and then you're ready to go. Yes, so I know, I think 9 out of 10 Americans don't get enough veggies in. So this is simple ways to get in more veggies. All right, so for this salad dressing, or not the salad dressing, for this salad, we're gonna want to get half a head of cauliflower. I actually already took a half a head of cauliflower and I mandolined it. Use the mandolin to slice it really thin. Actually makes these really cool shapes. If you don't have a mandolin or not comfortable using one, you have to be careful. They are really sharp. You don't want to cut any of your fingers. You can definitely just slice it thin. You can even just grate it. You can use a food processor. But if you do have one and you want to use it, cut your cauliflower in half. Take off like the leafy greens, the hard part on the bottom, and then you can just slice it. And you may need to cut the cauliflower so it fits in the mandolin, but just go like that. And if you have like a little blocker, again, just be careful so you don't slice your finger. But again, I already put half the head of the cauliflower already in there. It's ready to go. And so now we're going to go ahead and we're going to make the salad dressing. So what you're going to want is 1/4 cup of lime juice. I already squeezed my lime. If you can find one of these are great because you can squeeze limes and lemons with it. And this one has lasted me a while. I feel like I bought some before and they haven't. So I have 1/4 cup of lime juice. And again, if you don't want to use lime juice, use lemon juice or use a vinegar, apple cider vinegar. Probably not for this recipe, but for other salads is a great choice too. This recipe does call for Dijon. It calls for a teaspoon. I am only going to put in like 1/4 of a teaspoon in there, even like a little bit less, because again, I feel like Dijon gets really overpowering for me really quickly. And this recipe does call for honey. So if you don't want to add any sugars to it, you don't need it. The honey, the sweetness will balance it out a little bit. It only calls for a teaspoon, and 1 teaspoon is about 5-6 grams of carbohydrates. And let me find my teaspoon measuring spoon. I put it somewhere. Oh, here we go. So I'm going to go ahead and pour that into the dressing. And you can experiment with using it or not using it to see if you miss it or even need it. And then this one has 1/4 cup of olive oil. So here we go. Pour in 1/4 cup. Pour that into my lime juice. So this recipe is more of a 1-to-1 ratio. And so if you feel like that's just a little bit too much lime juice for you, you can add a little less lime, a little bit more olive oil. Again, adjust to your taste. And then I'm going to just put in a little bit of pepper. I'm going to add a little bit of salt. I'm just going to add like a pinch of salt, like really not much at all, just to give it a little bit of flavor. This recipe has Parmesan cheese, which will have some salt in it, which is, Parmesan cheese is salty. So feel free to kind of leave out the salt, and then you can adjust as you need after you add the cheese. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to mix this up really well, get it all emulsified, blend it really well blended. And if you don't have mason jars, like once you're done with your like Dijon or any condiments, you can just clean those, and those really make great jars for making salad dressing. So I have my cauliflower. I'm going to go ahead and dress it. This recipe also calls for nutritional yeast. So nutritional yeast is an inactive yeast. It kind of has like a nutty, cheesy flavor. A lot of vegans will use it for like a cheese flavor. I actually like it on, if I make scrambled eggs, it can be good. And feel free, you can leave it out or you can experiment and try it. So it calls for 1 tablespoon of nutritional yeast. I'm going to go ahead and measure that out. I'm going to put that on my cauliflower. And nutritional yeast, you don't have, like 1 tablespoon has like 1.5 grams of carbs. It also has 1 gram of fiber in it. So very minimal carbohydrates. I'm going to go ahead and pour in my dressing. Mix this all up. Again, you can always use your hands. I'm just using my salad utensils. In this recipe, so here's your cauliflower. And then again, you could just like leave it. You could just use the cauliflower as a side. This recipe calls for romaine and frisee, which I wasn't able to find at the store. And that's when you can just be flexible. So if like a green, there's so many different types of leafy greens. So find one that looks good to you. You can really use any leafy green. I used escarole. You can use endives. You can just use extra romaine. And I'm going to I did 2 cups of romaine and then 2 cups of my escarole, and I'm going to mix it all together here. And again, you could buy the romaine already washed. I actually just washed this one. I did the same thing. I rolled it up in a paper towel and it dried pretty quickly. And it calls for 2 ounces of Parmesan cheese. This has, I overdid it on the Parmesan, so I'm not going to put all of this in there, but I grated some Parmesan, and you can grate it too if you like a small or a little bit larger. And you could add less if you don't want it as cheesy. Give it all a mix. I feel like all these salads too, they always look so pretty. It's like with the white and the green mixed in there. As I'm flinging the spoon. Here is the cauliflower salad. So I'm going to serve this up. So this is a great way to eat raw cauliflower without it just being a big chunk of it. So here you go. So here in just such a short amount of time, we made 3 delicious salads. And again, you can always add all different types of veggies to add more color to it. You know, add fennel. So just have fun in the kitchen with making your salads. And, you know, you can just start experimenting with it and find out what you like and what you don't like. So that's what I have to share today.
Amazing that it looks like we're in a restaurant. Your salad looks so gorgeous.
Thank you. And these are, you know, these are all great that you can, especially like the cauliflower, these are more heartier greens, you know, they'll last the next day, add a protein to it, and then you have lunch done. You don't even have to think about it. Easier than DoorDash.
Love it. Would you like me to share your presentation?
Sure. And I just made some slides with here was like the salad dressing basics of what we went over of the 1-to-3 ratio of the vinegar or lemon juice to extra virgin olive oil and different items you can add to your salad, experiment with different types of vinegar. And then you want to emulsify it, blend it together and just store it in an airtight container. Again, with lemon juice, up to 5 days. If it's just vinegar and olive oil, it'll last a little bit longer, like a week or even longer than that. And then here's the recipe for the kale salad. I adapted this from a recipe on Epicurious and has the ricotta. And again, you can always adjust things to your taste. If you don't like shallots, it's fine, leave it out. And then the cauliflower salad. And this was also adapted from Epicurious. That's it. Any questions or?
Yeah, there are a couple. Somebody is wondering where you generally find your veggie recipes, I guess, other than Epicurious.
Gosh, recently, I like Epicurious because you can kind of search and Google. A lot of times I actually will be like, salads for November, like I'll kind of choose whatever month it is. So then you'll really get what's in season. So I find that that's helpful. And so you'll know like the veggies will be like fresh at the store and local, you know, maybe local and in season. I also, I've been really liking Love and Lemon's website lately, and Cookie and Kate are good ones. See if here is, Allison Roman, Dining In, she has some really great salad recipes in her book. She has 2 books, Nothing Fancy and Dining In. And I feel like they're all really doable recipes to create. So she has some good, and they're different. Oh yeah, she likes to add like a little bit of sweet, a little bit of spicy. Jalapeno is a great one you can add to your salads if you like more spiciness or heat.
Great. And then people are also asking about getting your recipes. So we're recording this webinar and we will put it up on our Stanford Healthcare YouTube through the Health Library, and we can send you a link to that. And with that link, we'll also have all the recipes when we post it. So that should be posted probably tomorrow, but we can send you the link.
Great.
And then I think in the Q&A section, people are just saying that it was such a great talk and that everybody feels motivated to go make some delicious restaurant like salads. So,
and you know, that's a great place to get inspired. I'll actually do that. Like I had a really good beet salad with some cheese. And so I'll try to replicate that at home that I put on top of arugula. So if like your favorite restaurant, maybe you walk around a farmer's market, maybe you don't buy something there, but you can see what's in season and all the different types of greens and veggies in there.
Yeah, excellent. Sounds good. Well, thank you all so much. And biggest thank you to Andrea for sharing her Thursday and her recipes with us. And hope that you can all make it next month, the second Thursday from 5 to 6. We always do a wellness webinar. Yeah, so looking forward to seeing you all again soon. Bye.